name is Juan Reyes. I call this meeting to order. It's 11:36. We want to say thank you to Jesse Hernandez for providing our meal today. And I encourage anyone who has the availability to provide lunch for the next meeting, please let me know. We want to say thank you to Jesse Hernandez for providing lunch. No one has lunch, so feel free to grab lunch if you feel like you have to, right before we start, and then also even before you have to leave. So again, thank you all so much for being here today. I'm gonna go ahead and call this meeting to order, and I'm gonna ask for roll call starting with Marina.
Marina Moreno, Vice Purpose.
Carl Medina, Olvera Laredo, District 5.
Angie Morales, Shop Coordinator for Veterans.
Esmeralda Suarez, District Outreach. Arcelia Polanco, Ama, RSPS.
Alexa Guarda, Heller. Mara Mendes, West County Judge. Viviana Martinez, Civil Moreno. Jonathan Reed on the Detox Department. Mika Zayman, District 6.
Jesse Hernandez, Counseling, Jesse Gonzalez.
Freddy Cordova, District 8. Benefits Public Information Office, Laredo Health.
Eli Seca, also from Laredo Health Department.
Erica Lopez, City Laredo Health Department.
Morning, everyone. Dr. Chamberlain, Laredo Health.
Nancy Cadena, Webb County Public Health.
Thank you all so much for being here today again. We have a busy month ahead, and we've got some good news and some bad news, and of course, we're gonna go through it as we continue. Maria, do you have anything for public comments? There are no public comments. We are going to go ahead and review the approval of minutes for the June 14, 2023 meeting. When you all look over it, if I can have a first and a second.
Motion to approve.
Who's that, sorry? Mara, thank you so much.
Second.
Second by
Viviana Martinez.
Viviana, I need, I'm so sorry, I need
Awesome.
a director or commission member.
Second.
Jesse, thank you so much. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We're gonna go ahead and continue to administrator's report. We have, Dr. Chamberlain and we have Viviana, also representing, so may I please, or do we table it to, we get the attorneys?
I've messaged them, and I guess we can move on. Either way, it was gonna be coming in with, number 5, letter B.
Got it, okay. Any other updates, anything that you'd wanna share?
No significant updates besides us. I do see exactly what we wanted to talk about here with this group, so thank you so much for joining us today regarding our, position on tobacco, although it's not illegal, but still detrimental to an individual's health, especially for our youth. So we'll share a little bit more about that in a few moments. And then also we'll be hosting our One Pill Can Kill, Overdose One Word Many Lives initiative town hall tonight, but I'll let the team take over that in a few moments as well. I don't know if Dr. Martinez had anything she'd like to share.
Just a quick update, we're expecting our certificate of occupancy within the next 5 to 10 business days. It's set to be for the 25th, but they say it can, whatever, it can take a few days to do that. So as soon as we get that, we're able to move in there. And with that, we're able to officially submit our application for licensure. So with all that, that already starts giving us a very closer date for opening. So licensure can take, once they receive it, anywhere from 45 to 60 days. So God willing, within the next 6 to 10 weeks. When I say days, 6 to 6. So hopefully within the next, 8 to 10 weeks, the center's operation.
Thank you so much, Dr. Martinez.
Councilmembers weren't present last time. Could Dr. Martinez introduce herself again?
Could you please?
Viviana Martinez, Director for our Detox Center here in Laredo.
Thank you very much. We're gonna go ahead and continue with the discussion and possible action. Marina has been coordinating the overdose date, and it's happening very, very soon. So while we wait for the other agenda items to be presented, we're gonna go ahead and ask everyone to see where you all will be participating, or if you will be participating, that way Marina kind of has an idea. Maria, do you want to talk about it?
Yes, the event will be held on August the fifth at, North Central Park. I have already some participants here that are gonna set up booths. Thank you very much to Taylor, Ama, Bethany House, Orgullo Laredo, City of Laredo, the fire department and the police department also. If anybody else is interested, I have some packages here, and, if y'all can help me put it out there, I don't know, on your pages and stuff like that, that would, really help us.
Do you want to talk about the community event?
We're gonna have, the 5K.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a 5K, and then, that's gonna be at 7:30, but at 5, we're gonna have, the invocation and, the presentation of colors, and then we're gonna have some booths set up, where people can go and get information. The fire department's gonna provide some Narcan training, so if anybody's interested, you all can take your families, and like I said, if you all wanna set up a booth, you all can do that.
Is there anybody that is interested in participating that has not signed up, that way we could go ahead and get you on the list? I know, Marina will be doing a general flyer, and we'll be including everyone, so to beat the deadline, if you're all here and you're all interested in either helping or assisting. As a matter of fact, if you have commission members that aren't being represented with their agency, maybe they can go and help that day with Marina, either helping coordinate the 5K or organizing the booths in their spaces. And then again, even at that, it gives us a really good networking opportunity if they're not here today, that they are introduced to come here today, because that's the whole point, that we're trying to bring in more awareness and recognition to the Drug and Alcohol Commission and the different community resources that are available. We're trying to, the idea behind it is, one, we're trying to raise funds for scholarships.
Scholarships for students that have been, involved in drugs and chose to take another route. So that's what I wanna do, and then also to go and keep, doing the awareness at the schools. I usually take them gift cards, and I give out candy, so I give them like a little raffle and stuff, and they usually pay more attention to what we're talking about.
And I think it's, we say it's a family event, and it might be a little bit hard to invite the public to go out there, but, you know, I think opening our eyes and bringing more awareness to what's going on is definitely going to be something that is for everyone. And that's why we're asking the community agencies to set up booths and to set up, you know, friendly, family oriented events, and also have those brochures and pamphlets or whatever the case may be available for the adults and young teenagers that need this information. So again, if there's anybody that is interested, please let Marina know at this time. And if you are willing to volunteer individually, that is welcome as well.
Marina, have you reached out to communities and schools?
Yes, I have. I'm waiting for them to get back.
And that's wonderful. If anybody has any suggestions, please, by all means, it's we're having discussions, so you're more than welcome to bring that up if she hasn't mentioned it. That way maybe she can touch base in reaching out to them.
Or also, Raul Reyes, he always leaves as the county treasurer.
No, I haven't contacted.
He always sends it on.
What else?
What about DEA? Are they participating in this?
DEA? No, but I was gonna talk to them today after the home field can tell you.
Let me know if you need that as a
Okay. Perfect, thank you.
If you have contact, you're more than welcome to go ahead and make contact for Marina. I think Marina has enough on her plate, so the more the better.
I
Maybe
can
help.
definitely talk to my person at the agency. Like, what would you require them?
What I did, I have like, I have a letter here that I can give you, and I have a sponsorship also. If they would like to sponsor, I currently have 1 gold, 1 bronze, and 3 silver sponsors. The gold was 500, the bronze is 3, and the silver are 150. So right now I have that. Ama was the gold sponsor, thank you, Ama. And whoever else wants to help, you're more than welcome. I can email you all the information, the brochure and everything.
I'll let you know.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other suggestions or recommendations on who to invite or who to ask to be there? Alrighty. Anything else, Marina?
That's it.
Alrighty then, thank you very much. Thank you for everyone's feedback and contribution to this event. We hope that it's successful. Please share it on your social media and or agencies, and if you have contacts to the media, you're more than welcome to share the information so that we can have a great turnout.
Doctor, can you speak at the event?
Yes.
Okay.
And then just again, what time is the
It's gonna start at 5.
proclamation?
Yes, the proclamation's gonna be, there's gonna be a proclamation day at, City Hall. That's gonna be on August the 1st, and I'll be sending the invitation to everybody.
Do you happen to know the time?
They sent it to me already at VSAP, they said 10:30.
All right, so August 1st, 10:30 at City Hall, but Marina will send out that information to everyone. But that way you can save the date and the time. If we could have commission members be present, that would be wonderful. That shows unity and obviously that we're working together.
Should he put 9, but it says GMT, so it's not central. Yeah, he put 10, central data, yeah, 10.
10 a.m.?
10 a.m.
10 a.m. Correction, 10 a.m.
Yes.
for August
August the
1st.
1st at City Hall.
Calendar reminder for that to all the members of the proclamation.
I'll send it to you, Maria, so you can distribute. Thank you.
And then the day of, you're doing the presentation at,
That's gonna be on August the 1st, proclamation, and then the one, for the event to start, it's gonna start at 5.
5 p.m. Okay,
Yes.
so 5 p.m. on
Saturday,
August
August 5th,
5th.
Saturday, August 5th.
Alrighty, does anybody have any questions before we move on? If not, we hope to see everybody out there.
Do you have a tentative end time, 5 to 7, 5 to 9?
I put 5 to 8 because the walk and the run start at 7:30.
Alrighty then. Thank you very much. If anybody else has any questions, you can ask Marina at this meeting at the end if you all would like. And then we hope to get a summary of the event and reminders closest to the event, but as of right now, you all have the reminders for the save the dates. Thank you again, Marina, for your efforts. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next topic, but are we ready or do you?
We're good.
We're good?
Unfortunately, I don't think legal will be joining us.
Okay, all right, so then we have, the next on the agenda, the deposition on tobacco e-cigarette sales ban near, school ordinance, and, to give us more information is Dr. Chamberlain.
Well, good morning once again, everyone, and thank you for allowing me to add this to the agenda here with DAC, as it was a request from our Laredo City Council, who met on June 20th of just this year, a couple weeks ago. And on the agenda that was proposed by Councilmember Torres was revisiting the land use development ordinances regarding the perimeter and the ban of the sale of tobacco around schools. And so they tasked the legal department to look into the ordinances and to make sure that whatever we were gonna put forth has teeth and that it'll stick, of course, with the new laws and regulations that have been put out by at our state level that sometimes supersede what we can do here at our local level, which is unfortunate. We wanted to make sure that this was going to be able to put forth. They requested that I would meet with both school districts and then also with the Drug and Alcohol Commission to provide the background on what was collected and what was synergized between the school districts, and then also share with this group the proposed amendment to the current land use development code. So I would like to share a little bit that on June 27th, I had the opportunity to meet with both leadership from UISD and LISD, both superintendents and their leadership team. With that, I just was listening to what they were sharing, and what they were telling me is that, of course, pre-COVID with vapes and in the school systems was not at the levels that they're seeing now. This past school year, they're actually concerned for this upcoming school year, and we're specifically talking about tobacco, but they've also let me know that there is an issue with THC in those products as well. And so with that, they gave me a whole bunch of stuff to be able to internalize and digest, and to be able to provide this information to our legal team and to our council members, and I'll share a little bit with you. So they wanted us, of course, as a community to highlight the importance of youth health through a communications campaign, emphasizing the role of the ordinances that are in place. A lot of persons don't know either that you have to be now 21 years of age to buy tobacco products, which before it was 18, so that did come up. And we also want to make sure that those individuals who are authorized distributors of tobacco in our community, that they're upholding that 21 years of age and older rule. So they also wanted us within that campaign to discuss the risks associated with e-cigarettes for kids, teens, and adults, providing evidence of harmful effects of tobacco and vaping products. And this would be a collaboration, of course, amongst the school systems with UISD, LISD, even pulling in on LC and TAMU, looking towards, of course, Webb County, the city of Laredo, and any other community-based organization that would want to be part of this collaborative, so that way we're able to fully amplify the messages as we are trying to reach every nook and cranny of our local population. Secondly, they wanted to implement the proximity restrictions. So it was recommended implementing a 1,000-foot distance restriction for tobacco sales around schools. And the rationale behind this was to propose the distances to deter easy access and effectively limiting the availability of tobacco products to minors. They also wanted us to consider expanding restrictions, to propose expanding the ban to include other locations where minors gather, such as parks, recreational centers, daycares, community centers, and youth centers. This broadens the approach to ensure comprehensive protection for minors in various settings. They also wanted us to ensure that we address the flavored tobacco products, and that this was discussed in heavier realms to minors, and that we included specific language regarding flavored vapes and tobacco into the ordinance as well. Fifth, they also requested that we would look into expanding drug-free zones to include alcohol and tobacco within the schools, because the schools do have those drug-free zones where violations are increased, but also now trying to include tobacco and alcohol. They wanted us to explore potential enforcement strategies, so this is where it comes back to UISD, LISD, LC, TAMU, City of Laredo, Webb County, coming together in a process, not at this moment, and I'll discuss that a little bit more in full in a couple of minutes, but on the enforcement side, and I'll share more about that. And then they wanted us to, as I had shared with them in council, to address the absence of any Texas cities on different lists that exist. So I shared with council that there is that there is two lists, Tobacco Free Kids and NoSmoke.org, that no Texas city is on. So there's no cities that have this type of verbiage or the amount of perimeter restriction on bans in Texas. So we would be, of course, again, being a first, as the city of Laredo does many things as a first for the better of our population, thinking of public health at its core. Putting this forth would be something to spotlight us on the national level, putting us onto these lists as Laredo taking charge and trailblazing in the state of Texas. So with that, we presented this information to the legal department. Oh, I forgot one that I did not share, which was disallowing grandfathering of existing businesses, and to consider not allowing existing businesses to be exempted or grandfathered into the ordinance. Unfortunately, that's where legal had to get in, because it is unconstitutional for existing businesses to be disallowed So those businesses have to stay, and so legal did request a follow-up meeting that just occurred, on Tuesday of this week with the school district, so that they are aware of that, and they were, of course, 100% on board to grandfather in existing businesses. But of course, in the future, if those businesses were to fail, they couldn't come back into place, because I know that there is a vape, or as discussed with me by LIC, there is a vape shop right on the corner of Saunders and Malinche, or if I'm not mistaken, that takes you right to Nixon High School. So that is a hop, jump, and skipping away for those students to get over to that vape shop. And if they're not enforcing the 21 years of age, or there are students that look like they're over 21 years of age, they have that easily accessible to them, but that business cannot be uprooted and pushed out. Eventually, if something were to fail there, a new business that would come in wouldn't be able to be there because of the expansion of the tobacco ban. And so what was put forth by our legal team, sorry y'all, I'm talking a lot, was to amend section 24.93.6 of the Land Development Code to include specific words or verbiage such as e-cigarette, flavored tobacco products, and extend the ban to 800 feet. I'm pretty sure that council will have an additional recommendation on that. They have final say, but this is why I'm here also to gain the feedback from the group to be able to share with council as well, that we heard loud and clear. We met with our school systems, with the leadership, and now of course with drug and alcohol regarding the verbiage and the expansion of the ban of the perimeter around not just schools, but parks, recreation centers, anywhere where youth gather. So that was a little bit of an update where we were at, and I welcome any comments that I can take back to council.
I can say that what you're talking about is really important. And, I still congratulate people like Scan and Pillar and Tama who are out there in the front lines getting prevention on tobacco products. Nicotine addiction is the hardest addiction to break. It's harder to break a nicotine addiction than a heroin addiction. People don't know that. And kids don't know that, definitely. And nicotine, even though our country was founded on tobacco, it is usually the first form of deviant behavior that kids do when they're being oppositional, and they have this deviant behavior. And there's no gateway theory of drugs, but you start off with deviant behavior and then you start doing other things. And I have in my private practice, and typically I see mostly adult women that have trauma, but I do work with still a lot of adolescents, and I do work with some kids in school and talk to parents. There's a huge problem from post-COVID to now where they're using these flavored vape. And of course, that's problematic because, as you said, many times there's THC in there. How many kids go to Step Academy or Lada Academy because they've got vapes and they have THC? So anything that we can do in the community to make it harder for the kids to get. I don't get it. If you have to be 21 years old, you show a license. It ought to be that simple, and so I agree, 800 feet, 1,000 feet, whatever it is, but this is where we need to continue to support our nonprofits to have prevention activities, because I know that there's specific prevention activities, right, Dora, that you all do, targeting tobacco and nicotine and vapes and all that. I know that. And so we have to continue and back these agencies to make sure that this happens. I can tell you that, all the years, 35 years, July 14th, 35 years, most of my clients that I work with, they all have problems with tobacco, with nicotine. They all, mostly, I specialize in 3 areas: co-occurring psychiatric substance use disorders, more severe psychiatric, more severe substance use, I specialize in trauma, and I specialize for 15 years with adolescents. All the kids that I work with used substances, including cigarettes. And so we need to do whatever we can, and we need to put it out there that once you get started, it's really difficult to stop. It's just true.
Thank you for
I
that.
agree with you. I agree with you, I agree with him, because, I also, was a smoker, right? So that's how it all begins when you're young. Do the cool thing, have a cigarette and smoke. And a lot of these young kids now, they do the same thing. But it's not really about where you put, where you found the vape shop, right? Because now there's vape dealers. So essentially, these guys go and get their vape, and it costs them $22, and they go sit and sell it to a 13-year-old for $40, $50. That 13-year-old saves up their money to get that vape, right? So I feel like it's not more or less the ban where the vape should be sold, it's more the punishment of that crime, right? Because it is enabling them to start.
No, you're absolutely right, and just so that you all know, they have Uber for this and drugs.
Yeah.
There's you can deliver.
Right.
People will
They're
deliver
regulars.
these substances.
And ultimately, that's what the school district said, that a lot of children have access to their parents' Amazon accounts, and then they're able just to order through Amazon to their home, and the parents don't open the packages, because they know that their children might be ordering, some music item, whatever it might be. And so ultimately, there is still that medium, which we cannot control, unfortunately, is that internet site. But yes, that was also shared, that there are vape dealers that are out there, and that's where it comes in on the enforcement side. So what I had planned for city council was the policy amendment, because definitely we always have to have policy that's in place to ensure the health and safety. And then throughout the months, with the policy comes a second reading after this is pushed through to council, and then after the second reading, it takes 60 days for it to take effect. So we're trying to do this right now before the school year starts, to also hit it hard with a campaign at the beginning of the school year, letting the kids know that we will be kicking off the Clear Lungs, Bright Future campaign, not as a logo embedded program here from Laredo Public Health, but more of a gift to the community and the community-based organizations that can take the logo, put it on, and all of us will work together collaboratively underneath that umbrella to make sure that the kids are understanding what they're actually doing to their bodies is detrimental, and a potential pathway to other substances in our community. And then moving into that unified enforcement in November, because I know it'll take a little bit longer for the ISDs, the police departments from all the different entities here to collaborate and start those sting operations that are necessary to ensure the age is being enforced, but then also for the crime or the dealers.
What I'd suggest, Dr. Chamberlain, that you could maybe do when you meet with the school district, invite all of the LCDCs from each of the schools and let them know that this year you want them to target, they target every year, they target tobacco, but say, this is a very specific thing, and you say, look, invite all the LCDCs, say, we want you to do targeted presentations in all the schools about this. They cover all the different substances, and they're there to speak to the kids, but let them know that this is the year, and make that their
priority for this year.
The slogan for the year, tobacco, nicotine kills, whatever it is, but invite them, because they're the ones that actually see the kids, they're the ones that make the presentations in the schools. So invite them, each school has at least, each district has at least 6, 7 LCDCs, that's 12 people that can be out there in the field talking to them. That'd be a suggestion you could do that.
It's a lot of great information, and I think it's a great idea to be able to put into effect. Just out of curiosity, because I want to picture it, how much is maybe you can help me out with this, but how much is 800 feet? Like, what are
3
you
blocks.
looking
A mile is 5,200
Yeah,
feet.
3
Okay.
blocks would be 800.
And 1,000 is?
1,000 would be a little more than 3 blocks.
I did that. Okay, and so currently, how many businesses, other than that Saunders and La Liche one, is just Do you have an idea of how many businesses are currently?
So I don't have this up, but we put together a presentation because we knew we would get the same questions for council. There are, what is this, 2 different sites? So we do have 5 shops that are located next to 2 schools, in the central part of Laredo. And then we do have 6 shops that are close to 4 schools that are where is it? So sorry, Central Laredo, 6 shops next to 4 schools, South Laredo, 5 shops next to 2 schools. So that, I mean, they're existing, but as mentioned, we can't disallow grandfathering in, of the ordinance to these existing businesses. But the moment that one of those businesses decide to move, it would not be able to be replicated in that spot within that, specific perimeter to those
And,
locations.
you know, I don't, I never look for products like that. I don't know, does Circle K and Stripes have those products?
Yes.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
You know, they're everywhere kids go to get back and stuff, and they're gonna pick that up.
See, they might be a little bit stricter at those stores in checking ID as opposed to vape shops.
It depends.
They meet outside with people.
See, and I think, what I've known, and I mean, I can be wrong, but what I've known is TABC will send out, and this is part of the enforcement, that they'll send out, young individuals to do a buy at a Stripes or a convenience store, to see if they are being sold either alcohol or tobacco. I think that they have more of a fear of selling to underage as opposed to a vape shop. But, and this is where I would have loved for police to be here, but what is actually happening, when somebody is selling to minors? What is
There's
their
obviously a
penalty?
fine for the individual and for the organization, the business entity. But that was proposed also during the meetings with the schools. I mean, if they did it 5, 6, 7 times, is that enough to say people are shut down? And that I don't have the answer for, definitely
That's
with
legal.
police and legal, which unfortunately our legal team was supposed to be here today. They apologize for not being here with us. But that would be of the necessary, as we would see it as a community. If this is your 6th, 7th time violating this, I think that's grounds for us to suspend or revoke your license.
And I can tell you that, and I'd love to be able to go to the next meeting that you all have, 90% of the tips that come in through Campus Crime Stoppers are vape pens, and the majority of it has to do with THC pens. And we've had smoke shops that have been reported to Crime Stoppers that have been selling to minors and also THC in large amounts. And so I'm just curious to know like what exactly is being done. I know way back when they used to do signs in the front of the businesses that would state that they had been penalized or that they were doing something wrong. To have parents be more aware, or people, the community be more aware of what that smoke shop had gotten fined or whatever the case. But those are just some things that maybe could come about, or that would deter the fact that individuals would sell to minors, or that they would sell to the THC. And I had absolutely, I'm sometimes naive to it, even though we're working with Crime Stoppers, but the idea that there are vape dealers, and we've had tips that have come in from individuals that sell out of their apartments. And I think the last time that I had reported was over $40,000 in cash, and then over 100 pens with THC in them. And yes, who knows what they're selling them for? Because if they had a large sum of $40,000, they must be selling them for a high dollar amount. So I think it's a great idea to be able to put it into an ordinance and start putting these businesses to a higher standard, that, you know, that they shouldn't be selling to minors, and bringing that awareness that tobacco is very addicting, and it starts off with tobacco.
You know, this is the same story. I was born in the 50s, and this is the same story, you know, in the 60s with cigarettes. This is just a sanitation of the problem of tobacco, because people will say, well, e-cigarettes are better because you're not gonna get lung cancer, because, you know, it's just pure, the nicotine that's coming out of the chemicals, and, you know, you can stop. No, it's, the problem is the nicotine.
Right.
The tobacco, obviously, you smoke, you're gonna darken your lungs, and say, well, that won't happen to me. But a lot of other things can happen to you, because those They've got so many different chemicals on them, and I've heard where those things have exploded in kids' faces, and again, it's a slippery slope. But this is the same argument that we had in the 60s about cigarettes, and so it's constant battle.
Can I, sorry, Colleen, I don't know if you'd be the one, but, and I'm sure this might be a better question to police, but has there been any instances where they found other things on these vape pens outside of THC? And is it possible?
Not that I've been made aware, but I'm pretty sure there has been other stuff. I know that we usually get pictures of, you know, sometimes there's like marijuana, and there's a scale, or there's a little bit of heroin, or there's where they use cocaine, I'm sorry, cocaine or heroin, whatever the case is. There has been pictures that identify that, and it's probably on their, major crime report that they have. So I just have to probably look into those specific
But it's
cases.
possible.
It's likely.
It's very possible.
Yes.
I had a client tell me that he put fentanyl in his liquid nicotine.
Which is the next thing I was going to ask.
That's it.
Is it possible that,
Because you know how, well, some of the vape pens, you need liquid nicotine, right? It's like little bottles of different flavors. So he put the liquid nicotine, and then he also put a small amount of liquid fentanyl, so he could get high,
Yeah.
right? So that's how he was doing
Okay,
it.
so my concern really about the fentanyl, because we've already got up to 42 overdoses, and 21 of them have been included fentanyl. My concern, I was talking to someone from SAMHSA, or GPO from SAMHSA at Pillar the other day, and they're gonna come to Texas to look at the fentanyl crisis. But my fear is because we're already seeing at the drug court UAs of people that are using cocaine laced with fentanyl. Of course, we have our opiate addicts that also use fentanyl, but now we have cocaine laced with fentanyl. The next step is gonna be cannabis laced with fentanyl. You know, because they used to, back in the day, lace cannabis with cocaine.
what's that, I'm sorry, Jesse, that you said?
Fentanyl.
Fentanyl. My concern is that it's gonna get to the point where one day, cannabis is gonna be laced with fentanyl. We're already seeing it with cocaine. Back in the day, you would see cannabis laced with cocaine. So it was very common. And so, you know, people do not know what fentanyl will do. I mean, they hear it, but it's innocuous, especially teenagers who think they can live forever. You know, so, I mean, I have lots of concerns about fentanyl. I'm concerned about, you know, tobacco products. You know, the vaping. I'm working one kid, his father found 40 vapes, used vapes, in his room. I told the kid, you must have wanted to get caught. What did you throw them away, you know? 40 used vapes. And, you know, the dad showed them to me, I said, well, these are all nicotine products. It looks like they're nicotine products, they don't have THC. And he was doing drug testing for his son, and he wasn't using, but it's a step away. And the kid had oppositional defiant disorder, and so it's problematic.
A lot of times they don't throw them away because they're rechargeable. So, recharge them, right, just like your cell phone. So there's always just a little bit left in there. So they get down to a certain amount and then they go buy another one or order another one, but they keep that one. So, they keep that one just in case the other one runs out and stuff like that. But yeah, now, fentanyl is going into nicotine, right, in the vape pen. So I've had a lot of clients test positive for fentanyl, throw a fit because they don't do fentanyl, right? But they have cocaine in their panel.
Yeah, they don't know.
And, well, guess what? You know, your cocaine dealer gave you fentanyl, you know, so.
I just wish everyone had a grandmother like my mama Aranda. The one time I ever smoked a cigarette, I was in my cousin's Volkswagen. I was 13 years old, and she just walked in and she looked at me, and then she turned around. Her look of disappointment. I never smoked a cigarette. That was the only cigarette I ever. So if everyone had a grandmother like that, you know, then I think we'd be okay. But my God, this is.
My grandma had a chancla.
Yeah.
But then to commemorate the conversation, to share back with the council, DAC supports the ordinance. Yes.
There's a consensus from everyone to agree that it's definitely needed. As a matter of fact, right now, when I was going over the, Eli's question, just recently we paid out 2 tipsters. One tipster, was to identify suspects on a LPD bolo. It was 3 juveniles, 1 adult that were involved in the theft because they're stealing the vape pens from the convenience store, and it says off of Springfield Avenue. They were all charged with theft and misdemeanor. And then on another tip, we had narcotics and the DEA task force work on an investigation. 1 male was arrested on federal charges, over $30,000 in cash and over $1,000 in drugs seized that included cocaine, crack, fentanyl, and heroin. So that it's definitely out there, it is, and luckily Crime Stoppers has been one of the means to be able to have individuals report the criminal activity. So I definitely want to be a part of the campaign. That way, through LISD and UISD, they're able to promote the Campus Crime Stopper number and report, and then get the incentive, if they so desire it, of the reward. But I think, again, is there any other comments? And there is a consensus of everyone agreeing to the ordinance.
What about putting like a, not too graphic, but pictures in schools, like smoke is no joke with some lungs, or, a baby, something that's gonna be like, wow, I don't know if that's gonna help them, or somebody might not like that, but it might help.
And we actually do, UISD through the Discipline Management Department, who helps Campus Crime Stoppers do presentations, because we're a small staff. And so they help us. What I do is I do presentations to them, and then they go back into the schools and they do presentations on gangs, drugs, and positive behavior. And they do have a contest where they involve students to they choose a theme, and it's always on drugs and staying in school and doing good and positive behavior. And so they'll present it in December. They'll work through it the first semester, and then they're awarded with scholarships and cool iPads and stuff like that. So the winners of the posters will go out the following school year, and they'll have them around the school campuses. But I like the joke is a good.
Don't be a fool, smoking's not cool.
We also ought to include and invite our meetings are the LCDs from the school district. They would be, because they're gonna be, they'll be the one targeting it. I think it would be important that we say, okay, come on and join us.
I'll make a note of it, and we'll try to reach out to the school districts to invite them to come be a part of these meetings. But wonderful information, and I think it's moving along. Yes?
What is being done to target the parents to have education on what to look for? And, as a parent, as a community, we can't just rely on the school, right? The professionals of school to be doing this, because, ultimately the children go home. And unfortunately, many times they go home being unsupervised for whatever reason, right? They work late or not. So, efforts also have to be put out to educating caregivers as to what to look for. Jesse mentioned, the grandmother, and a lot of times, children are being watched by elderly because the parents are working and they don't know what to look for. They don't know, traen un aparatito, within them not knowing that ese aparatito is, is not.
And I think the schools, they do have a parent summit in November, and they also, I think both school districts have
There's monthly meetings for the parents.
They have that too as well.
And I know, Dora, you target the parents, your programs target the parents.
The LCDCs I know do a great presentation, where they also teach about how vape pens come in different shapes and sizes and different pens, and even a cell phone.
Yeah.
And so the cell phone is in the classroom, and the teacher may believe that it's a cell phone, but it's actually a vape device. And so there are efforts. I think it just has to be something like, Jesse mentioned, it's something that has to be constant. It's a constant
campaign. Once a year
But that's where we all come into play, that we all have a different role, but we're all with the same mission at the end of the day. So I think that's something to definitely keep in mind, and I'm pretty sure that through the Clear Lungs campaign, they will target parents as well.
I do wanna ask Dr. Chamberlain, are you also gonna target the vape shops that are gonna be grandfathered into this ordinance and discuss the age and all of that to them?
And that will come in on the enforcement side, as we'll put out information, of course, that, as I mentioned, like, there are still people who don't know that are 21 years of age or older. So that'll be something that we push out on our side to the caregivers, to parents, but ultimately also reinforcing that notion at those shops that you must uphold the law and keep the 21
Yeah,
years
like
of age.
beforehand, before they sell some.
Yeah.
It's kind of confusing when you have, you could be 18-year-old and buy an AR-15. It's kind of confusing.
While we're on this subject, guys, nicotine that turned into vape, just so you can know, FYI, they're now snorting caffeine. So it's called Wanna Bump. So it's ridiculous, and it made me mad seeing it. But now you can snort caffeine too. It comes in a little bottle. I don't even know how much it costs, but it's caffeine in a bottle. So they were doing energy drinks, and then your energy that little bottle that they sell at Stripes, but now they're doing caffeine in a bottle too. So it's terrible. I mean, I can just see a whole bunch of kids.
And that just shows something that they probably have
Overdosing.
never been exposed to, and they're thinking it's the cool thing, and now they're going to wanna bump, like, come on, like, really.
Exactly. It's called Wanna, and that's the actual website, Wanna Bump.
I don't know what the statistics are now, but back when Dora and I started working together many years ago, one for adolescents, 25% of adolescents in the 7th and 8th grade were using inhalants. And that's the easiest substance to get a hold of. And it may still be up there, I don't know what the statistics are, but that was back in 1988.
The glue and all that.
Yeah, gasoline, paint, gold paint, liquid paper, they took care of the liquid paper thing. And then the paint in a locked container, but it was real problematic.
Also, I have a question. I know that listening to the Mexican radio station, they actually always advertise and say like a warning, like if you're gonna do fentanyl or you're gonna die. Like, I don't know, it's worded different. I'm just being exaggerated. But how come we don't do it here in our media, like here? How come we only hear it up there?
That was that's a federal policy that Mexico has. So like, even when you buy cigarettes in Mexico,
Yeah.
you turn it around, they have really graphic pictures.
Really graphic pictures. But it does make you think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like listening to it, or maybe, you know, it's
Yeah.
I think, you know, we have this co-occurring committee, and we haven't met in a while, but one of the things that the community needs to be educated on, and parents, are adverse childhood experiences, because I can let you know that all of the adolescents I work with, and even adults that I've worked with, suffered so many adverse childhood experiences, and the parents at least understand. And there's more parenting using the nurturing parenting curriculum, or 1, 2, 3 Magic. You know, it might help, but there's so many adverse childhood experiences that contribute to addiction. You know, so when we see clients that have co-occurring issues, their ACEs are way up there, they're super high. It's correlated with certain issues, so I think that's another target that we have to have as far as the Drug and Alcohol Committee, because, you know, the substance use is just a symptom of psychological problems. And, you know, yes, we have to get that taken care of, but I've never, in 35 years, met someone that just had a substance use disorder. Well, that's not true. They all had co-occurring psychiatric substance disorders, different quadrants, you know, but not alone. They all had something, you know, so we have to work on that and understand this is a symptom of an underlying problem that starts off with adverse childhood experiences and other things going on. And we have to find a way to address that. What do you think?
I think we should start scanning towards a lot with prevention with the elementary schools. And if we start there, the kids, you know, pescan la onda, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, they don't realize there's a lot of negative effects just from the nicotine, the vaping, that they haven't even put out. Even alcohol today, all the data they're collecting
Yeah.
is showing that even small amounts of alcohol contribute to about 61 different illnesses
Yeah.
that people develop, you know, as adults. Because I think, I have 2 teenagers, and, you know, but they're very health conscious, you know, and if we get the data to them, you know,
At a young age.
at a young age, and then, you know, clear cut, you know, examples of how it affects, and you know, at 50 years old, you could develop all this other stuff, you know.
I think definitely knowledge is power, and enforcement is definitely key. If there's no other discussion or any other comments, can I just have, for the record, a first and a second to have the deck, approved or bring it back to the city council? I have a first by Jesse and I have a second by Gerardo. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes to bring it up to city council that we are in favor of the ordinance.
Thank you.
We're gonna go ahead and move on to the detox facility update, and I know, Dr. Martinez shared with us, right before, that the, occupancy is still pending.
Yes.
And is there any other updates that you might wanna share with us?
No, at this point, that's where we're at. So we're hoping in the next 8 to 10 weeks, we'll,
So definitely not in August?
no.
Okay. Okay, keep us updated, and that way we can all definitely be a part of the grand opening and the ribbon cutting for this event. I know that, it is much needed. I know that people have asked, as people, are hearing more about it, or that they're seeing the building come to, completion, that they're eager to know how and where they're gonna get referred and whatnot, so, I think we're just anticipating it, and hopefully it will, be something good for the community. Thank you. We're gonna move on to the stakeholder agency updates and presentation. I want to, let you all know that it's already been shared through the WhatsApp group, and it's also been shared through an email, but, tomorrow, if you all can make it and be present, for the One Pill Can Kill overdose. Tonight, sorry, tonight. Today, what day is it? Today's the 20th. Okay, so tonight at 6 p.m.
Here.
In this building. Okay, so I will be here. Do we have anything else that you all would want to share about tonight's meeting?
No, we've got a confirmation from the DEA, the Laredo Police Department, Laredo Health Department, and the Laredo Police Department, all of which are gonna be in the panel, and the fire department, sorry, all of which are gonna be in the panel. We're gonna open it up for discussion as well, so there'll be, you'll be able to write in a question, and those questions will be reflected over to
It'll
I'm
also
sorry,
be
where's it gonna be?
here in the same room.
it's also gonna be live streamed, so if you guys wanna share our link, we're gonna put it up later today. And questions are gonna be able to be asked through the live stream as well, so.
And most importantly, we wanted to connect with members of the community. And that's what we're seeking to do since it's in the evening, but we do have participation from many stakeholders and persons in leadership and across the city of Laredo that will be here to support. We will have the most updated, unfortunate overdose death statistics to be able to share with the QR codes, so that way it could be shared on all, personal social media streams, social circles, family, friends, letting people know that this is happening. It is alarming, and we have to do something as a community to make it better. Because I know we all do it day in and day out, but we need that mother, that father, that aunt, that uncle, grandmother, family, friend to step in and make the difference in those persons' lives. Get them to the support that they need, the treatment, the aftercare, but also prevent those first-time experimental users from even dabbling in it. Because the first time can be your last time, and that's what we want to make sure to echo. And with that, there'll be additional organizations here providing information on what's available in our community, and most importantly, as a detox, is what's to come.
great, thank you so much. And yes, it is tonight at 6 p.m. here. My days are so like all over the place.
Now it's almost Friday.
Do we have any updates from our stakeholders present that you all would like to share that your agency is doing, or reminders? Heather, do you want to share on the stuff that you all have going on, or anything that you'd like?
Yeah, right now we have, I know that earlier this month we had the harm reduction, vending machine invading. We are working closely with fire department and health department, the city council. Hopefully this month will be approved for the location. And that way, starting as soon as the tech comes down, August 14th, hopefully, it will be available for the community to receive harm reduction supplies at all times. All you have to do is part of the Project PAW, which is a very simple process.
Okay, thank you. Bethany House, do you all want to share anything?
No, I just had a question. Would that be the vending machine with the podcast?
Yes.
Oh, awesome. Just that numbers are rising for overdoses and clients for AMA as well. So at least they're seeking out help. So I'm hoping that the word is out there about fentanyl and we make it more aware.
Sí, los números se están incrementando bastante, lo vemos constantemente en Bethany House, todo downtown. Me ha tocado ver ir a las plazas, todos están como un zombie land, andan agresivos, peleándose. Hemos tenido escenarios muy alarmantes, pero estamos trabajando, tratando de tener más informados a nuestra gente. So, yo sí tengo un anuncio. El Friday, mañana, tengo el agency meeting from 10 to 12 en Jarvis Plaza. El 28 tengo la agency meeting. Este es el agency outreach, donde nos vamos las agencias a la placita a dar información. Y luego, ya el 28 voy a hacer la agency meeting. Ok, para cualquiera que quiera asistir, bienvenido.
Thank you, muchas gracias. Do we have any other updates from anyone?
No, well, with SCAN, we just have the drop-in center that in case anyone needs Narcan or Narcan training for any agencies, they're willing to train and provide the Narcan to those individuals that attended the training. So it's open, it's available 24/7. Not sure the address, I believe it's 1303 Seymour.
Correct.
It's glad that the others runs that project, so please feel free if anybody would like to refer them over there.
Thank you. Thank you for that information.
Please, thank you.
Ms. Mansfield, anything more that you want to share? Erica, do you have anything you want to share?
No, thanks.
Okay. Anyone else would like to share anything? Alrighty, well, a lot of good information. Let's continue to do the best that we can do to bring more resources and education to the general public, as this is definitely heartbreaking to know that there's more overdoses and that there could have been prevention one way, shape, or form. So let's all try to do the best that we can do, and if those of you all who are able to join tonight, feel free to come in, but if you're also able through your platforms to share the information, I think that that's also very important, because it may be that they don't have a clue that it's happening, but that they are able to listen in and maybe start asking questions or trying to even find out what is available to help. So definitely, if you can't make it, I encourage you all to share the information through your agency's platforms, through your individual platforms, share it and bring more awareness to the community.
I have some fentanyl brochures, and would I be able to bring them?
Tonight?
Yes.
Yes.
I have English and Spanish.
Please do.
All right, thank you.
Fire Department ha estado yendo a Bethany House en los lunches, agarran certain days y van como, hace un training, un really good training, Mr. Hart, Mr. Hurt, con el otro, Hernán, y van y hacen set up una table y luego ponen un mannequin y les enseñan actually how to put the Narcan. Está bien interesante ese training, como para las escuelas, porque nosotros, como está ahorita la situación en downtown, fue necesario, para mí era necesario como hacer algo para que nuestra gente esté informada. So, ellos nos ayudaron y hacen el training en las comidas y la gente va y se arrima y han tomado un gran número de personas que les han dado el entrenamiento y eso es un avance, mucho. So, dan muy buen training los fire.
Y van a hablar de eso hoy en la tarde, en el evento.
Sí.
Qué bueno que está compartiendo esos
Sí.
noticias de éxitos que están teniendo.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you, muchas gracias. All right, if there is no other discussion, I'm gonna go ahead and call this meeting to, close, to adjournment at 12:37. Can I please have a first and a second? Sorry, motion. I have a Mara first and a second by Jesse. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you so much. We will see you at the next meeting and hopefully see you all tonight.